And when they set about to drop their young, they press against her side, their calls of agony not so great a shout as if she were not there to hear they cried. I would send her all my love this way in a ranting and incompleted poem, attempting with industry, not as a small child to say love, but as a woman not too well or wisely grown. Somehow, in whatever house this gray-eyed one keeps in haphazard, absent-minded disarray, one ear is tuned to window where the locust acrididae leaps, and to her addresses a private roundelay. About on tables and sills crowd blooming, hypnotized flowers. Her left hand tends them, her right holds a political treatise. Her notions are Greek-founded, yet laid in present hours, concerned and absolute for her country's true increase. When time moved and she came once to visit me, we had to buy a dozen varied saplings, for she said you can't have a yard without a tree. From the cellar I got up a pick and a man's stout spade. The rocks had been created one with the soil, and to make a root basin properly took a half-hour's steady toil. Here, she said, and grasped the tool, let me dig that hole. My body's old and doesn't matter longer. You are young. Helpless, half astonished I stood. She heaved and chopped, the boulders flung. The cave was built forthwith. I would send her all my love, knowing she has no patience or place in her valiant person for tribute. Still, I would commend to her retiring self enormous processionals of praise. And for my son, John Carl Steichen, at 20. The foreign soil is dusted on your shoes. You, these many months gone, returned. The arrogance of conquest is in your stance as you hurl the door to and enter my domain. Your fierce voice startles, used to a small son, soberly erecting erector sets, not even swearing, conscientious, religious within my hearing, a gentle child, and I employing strong words at times in a temper, being amazed and thinking you tender and alien. You were a still boy who now come to my room with a loud sound like laughter. Why, I wonder, can I scarcely touch your fresh, hard face, stranger? This evening I glance across to where, in a chair, your cradled guitar makes odd tunes from some land where women shield their faces and men go hand in hand, and you tear open black figs large as oranges, the pink flesh hot and sweet and sensuous. You have lifted veils, you have with those men taken wine, resinous, half warm. There is brine in your new beard, sinewy your different hand. In the shadow your mouth glints, telling of a dragon and mermaids, of swine to men and men to swine. Rocked on my knees in a fever, were you once mine? With mouth then like a flower from which now I turn. You do not know, nor ever shall, tall one, how frequently to my angel I mention your name in a bargaining fashion. Let, I pray, this rebel son outlive me, no longer any visible part to him. And I thought it was time I wrote a poem to my daughter. It's the first one I ever wrote to her, Carlin Paula Steichen, and it's called Someone Should Say It to You, Daughter. Someone should say it to you, daughter, love. Daughter, I loved you when you were 3, the way I loved the golden spaniel pup who scampered sunny-tempered on the porch. You never cried, you laughed. You never walked, you ran. You never liked, you loved. You never spoke, you sang. Someone should say it to you, daughter, love. Daughter, I love you best now at 19. The lines of worry there where you have frowned, your quiet way of going from a room. You cry too much, you laugh too much, you walk too much and run. You like too much, you love too much, you speak too much and sing. Yesterday I saw in you no part of me, although I knew that you were of my blood and had my smile and had my mother's eyes. Sister, today you stood before the glass and took the comb and ran it through your hair, and looked into your eyes, and there saw me and my mother and hers. Let someone say it, daughter, sister, love. Well, wherever there are writers, you're always hearing about loneliness, the independence of loneliness. So I thought I'd write a poem about it. I called it, Am I Waiting for a Knock Upon the Door? Am I waiting for a knock upon the door? Is it death or the next day or a friend or child I'm waiting for? And when I hear it, will I rise and lift the latch and find no one? Will my caller be loneliness, come to watch me stalk about my rooms? I'll draw a chair and make you welcome, saying, Oh, where have you been? Are you afraid? You must not hide, and come more often, please. Don't remain outside, wandering up and down the stair. I hear you sometimes in the night, and it disturbs my rest. I've often wanted to invite you in. Do you ever stand in the shadow at the bookcase? Am I wrong in mentioning that I've seen your face now that we are at last eye to eye? Have you been lost in my mirror's dark? Now that I've found you, stay, dear guest.